women due to various reasons, violence and intimidation included. The Zimbabwe Gender Commission clearly has a critical role to play in supporting gender equality in the electoral processes, using its mandate to support the implementation of the gender provisions in the Constitution. Key provisions include Section 17, which provides that the state must promote gender balance to ensure that women fully participate in all various spheres of the Zimbabwean society. In 2017, the Commission conducted a pre-election environmental scan and observed the Chiundura by-election from a gender perspective. During this exercise, it was noted that no woman candidate participated in the by-election. The women in Chiundura revealed that in previous elections, they had experienced various forms of violence, which included physical assault, intimidation, and sexual violence. The identified issues acted as barriers to their participation as voters, candidates, and as election officers. The Commission also engaged relevant stakeholders and members of the public in the gender dialogues conducted in 4 selected districts, namely Mudzi, Mutasa, Gwanda, and Chivi, which culminated into the National Gender Forum, whose objectives was to identify the critical areas of concern that hinder the implementation of the constitutional provisions on gender equality. During these dialogues, women highlighted some of the constraints to their political participation as inadequate financing, poor support systems, and violence against women in elections. The constraints that women face have also been highlighted in media reports and in monitoring reports that civil society organizations have produced. As a commission, we are deeply concerned about the attacks on female political leaders, which have manifested in various forms, including psychological violence. These acts of violence against women in politics are aimed at intimidating the democratic contestation of ideas and silencing the voices of women in politics. This also exacerbates the disparity between men and women in politics and decision-making positions, and flies in the face of gender equality and peaceful, free, fair, and credible elections. Ladies and gentlemen, political power has remained largely beyond the reach of many women. As such, through this collaborative effort, let us make efforts to contribute to the creation of an enabling electoral environment which will allow women to participate in the best way possible. The groundwork has been laid through many other efforts, such as the 50-50 campaign, the 2018 launch of the Women's Manifesto, commitments to gender parity pledge, the creation of an election committee within the police, and various efforts by the different Chapter 12 commissions and other stakeholders which are here represented. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to launch the Gender Observatory, which is a mechanism for gathering evidence and documenting women's experience throughout the electoral cycle. It is also a protection and response mechanism for electoral violence against women before, during, and after the elections. The Gender Observatory comprises of independent institutions established in terms of Chapter 12 of our Constitution. This includes the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, and the National Peace and Reconciliation Commission. These independent commissions share a common response in contributing towards a democratic Zimbabwe society, and particularly the Gender Observatory. They are all coming together to support gender equality and women's participation in elections for the first time in the electoral history of Zimbabwe. The Ministry of Women's Affairs, Gender and Community Development, as the government ministry with the mandate to support gender equality, sits in the observatory to provide the key government support in addressing issues affecting women within the electoral cycle. The Zimbabwe Women's Parliamentary Caucus Secretariat provides support to document the experiences of female members of parliament within the electoral cycle. Civil society organizations in the observatory include the Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe, whose role is to highlight key concerns and good practices emerging from its constituencies for the attention of the Gender Observatory. Other CSO working on elections such as the Election Resource Center, Women's Parliamentary Support Unit, Electoral Institute for Sustainable Democracy in Africa, and Albinos Trust are also part of the observatory. Women's peace committees are constituted of women from wards and districts. Through the committees, the women at the community level play a key role to ensure that concerns, especially around women's safety and access to electoral processes, feed into the observatory work for effective response and redress. The academia, comprising of the Southern and Eastern African Regional Center for Women's Law Center, under the Faculty of Law at the University of Zimbabwe, and the Women's University in Africa, among others, are also represented on the observatory. The academia has a key role in assisting the observatory in research and analysis of emerging issues in terms of providing key insights on the operating environment as well as contemporary issues that are relevant to the work of the observatory. The security sector actors comprising the police and the defense force play an important role in ensuring that they dispense of their duties in a gender-sensitive manner and that their sector responds to matters affecting women's safety and access to electoral processes timelessly. Ladies and gentlemen, the objective of this gathering are to launch the Gender Observatory to all citizens and interested stakeholders in Zimbabwe, to reinforce the importance of women's participation within the electoral space and decision-making positions in general in a peaceful environment, to highlight the role of the Gender Observatory to respond to identified gender election-related issues and highlight the envisaged collaboration with other stakeholders, to reflect on women's participation in politics and document their experiences, to advocate for an environment that is enabling to women to participate and enjoy their rights as per the Constitution of Zimbabwe. The Gender Observatory is a long-term mechanism whose existence will extend beyond the elections and whose long-term mandate is to gather information from women-led grassroots organizations to support effective reporting of cases on election-related issues, to take action in response to identified gender and election-related issues, to promote the implementation of advocacy strategy on women's political participation, and last but not least, to produce and disseminate knowledge on women's experiences throughout the electoral cycle. The Gender Observatory is situated within the Zimbabwe Gender Commission, which is mandated with the overall responsibility of facilitating the promotion of gender justice, as well as ensuring that gender equality provisions of the Constitution are adhered to. In conclusion, let me express my sincere gratitude to UN Women for its support and to the Gender Observatory members who have taken time to be part of this Gender Observatory and this event. To members of the press here present, we acknowledge your very important role in highlighting all the issues relating to violence against women in every form, before, during, and after the elections. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor and privilege to launch the Zimbabwe Gender Observatory. I thank you for being here and to celebrate this launch with us. I thank you very much.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.